My Life Between Lives story from Newton-trained Institute practitioners.
I see a whole change in the thrust of searching for answers about who we are and why we're here. And I think it's wonderful, and I just hope the movement continues to expand.
Let us expand the universal consciousness together with a My Life Between Lives story presented by the Michael Newton Institute.
Welcome to my LBL story. This is Ekomananda. I am your host. Today is a very special auspicious day. We are recording the session from Arunachana Foothill Ramana Ashram. On this full moon day, Girivaran take place. That is, all people from different towns nearby will come to this place and circumambulating around this sacred mountain to receive the blessings and to honor the divine light. What a gift! We present to you Dr. Dorothea Fouquet. She's a German medical doctor and a licensed psychotherapist with nearly 5 decades of professional experience in the healing field, blending scientific depths with spiritual wisdom. Since 2007, she has been an LBL facilitator and guided over 2,000 soul journeys for profound healing and self-realization. She has also served the Michael Newton Institute in various roles. As the author of Soul Light, Our Divine Purpose Revealed on 2,000 Afterlife Journeys, and 2 German titles on Life Between Lives, as well as the long-standing From the Doctor's Desk column for Stories After Lives since 2016. Dr. Fouquet continues to inspire countless seekers worldwide. Warm-hearted and insightful, Dr. Fouquet is a true pioneer in soul-centered healing and transformation. A big warm welcome to Dr. Fouquet. I just wanted to truly express our deep appreciation for you coming to the show, Dr. Dorothea Fouquet, taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you very much for the invitation, Ekomananda.
I guess the first question is from a medical doctor. How did you actually end up practicing life between life therapy and now being a leading therapist in the field?
After 25 years of practicing medicine, psychotherapy, hypnosis, body work, and trauma therapy, I was guided at the turn of the millennium into a spiritual direction. In my sessions, mainly with body psychotherapy, spontaneous regressions happened. Some clients regressed into a past life, and at first I didn't believe that. I was skeptical, but at one point, I couldn't refuse it any longer. I took some own past life regression sessions, and I became convinced of the authenticity of past life memories. That was the beginning. I had I took several workshops in spiritual healing. I went to the Philippines to visit spiritual healers there, and in 2005, a friend of mine gave me the first 2 books of Michael Newton as a gift. I looked them through shortly, and then I put them into a drawer under my bed. I wanted to read them later. And 2 years later, one morning, I woke up with a clear impulse to read them now thoroughly, which I did in one go. And I immediately applied for the LBL training in Chicago with Michael Newton and his team.
How wonderful. So you actually started doing hypnosis already when you get to know Michael Newton's book by that time?
Yes, yes, I have been a certified hypnotherapy therapist from the Milton Erickson Society, yes, for several years.
Wonderful. And so over the years, and since you have been incorporating this spiritual regression method into your healing journey, how has this method transforms your healing technique?
What I realized, what I observed is, I over the 18 years I practiced LBL, that the human consciousness evolved more, and meanwhile, many more clients reach more easily higher dimensions. In my practice, that's the case. They perceive the beyond realm less physically, but more as a world of light, energy, vibration, sound, love, consciousness. So, whereas Dr. Newton described many sessions with the perception of their clients of a kind of physical world in the beyond. That's no longer the case in my sessions, at least. Also, a broader clientele come into my practice nowadays for LBL sessions, and I see two, but they come often with a heavy head mind. They are somehow a bit fixed in expectations and with mental concepts, because they had already a huge collection of experiences with the meditation techniques, with workshops, retreats, psychedelics maybe, out of body journeys and so on. And now they are a bit, maybe they are a bit stuck in their head. Also, it's another reason for the head heaviness is a culturally grown imbalance of heavy-headedness. You see what I mean? So, therefore, my focus shifted over the last years more to a sensory experience for the clients, a sensory experience of their soul being perfused by their soul energy and surrounded by their soul energy, centered and aligned, because I often perceive their energy field when they come at first a bit displaced above their body, not centered and not aligned, not grounded. And as because I'm a body therapist and did that practice for many years, I sense their energy fields up to the fifth layer. I can perceive their aura, and so the soul urges us to embody our soul, our divine potentials in the earthly realm. When people are a bit stuck in their mind, sooner or later, their soul gives signals, maybe by dissatisfaction, maybe by some physical symptoms, or by some problems in life, because the soul wants them to embody what they are, their true self, to unfold their divine potentials and to fulfill their life purpose in the earthly realm.
So when the body experiences the pain and struggle, unsatisfaction, unmet desires, it's the soul tries to communicate with the body, mind, worldly eye.
Right, yes. Mm-hmm.
And when you say the soul is not centered, not grounded, how does a person know that they are off align with their soul purpose?
I give them feedback gently. I let them perceive where they are within their body. I try that at least. And I asked their guides, their spirit guides in the LBL state, to let them perceive their whole soul energy, expanded into their wideness and magnitude, expanded into their light, into their beauty and goodness and wisdom.
When you say you help them to perceive their soul, is this the LBL technique, or is this a combination of your other method coming together?
Well, it's mainly the LBL method. I just I integrate some of my experience from psychotherapy and body therapy into the method. With the help of the spirit guides, I always ask for permission, their spirit guides, if they let them perceive, really sense, give them a felt sense of their wholeness, of their light being. You know, the old yogic tradition knew that the soul has a light body with different layers of energy, of the aura, and with the permission of the spirit guides, I induce a felt sense of the expansion of the soul's energy as far as possible, as wide as possible. And at least I would say most of my clients are able to expand into their fifth layer, which is in the yogic tradition called Ananda Maya kosha, which is the kosha of bliss and joy, and maybe even more into the sixth aura layer of their soul, which is called the jiva, the individual soul. And the individual soul is, and the fifth and sixth layer is, of course, connected to higher dimensions, and may even reach into a divine sphere.
Does everybody expand to this place with the assistance with a spiritual guide, or is it quite individual?
Most of my clients are able to expand into their fifth layer of the soul energy and experience flow sensations through their body, experience joy, bliss, I would say, yes, and gratefulness for their being, for their life, for their whole being.
And when this happens, the individual experience that profound sensation of peace and bliss. Do people question that experience? Do people say that I made that up? It's not here with me all the time. It's not a constant. How do we address that?
Oh no! At that moment, they cannot deny it because they feel it. It's a strong feeling. So they, when they are in that expansion, they don't question it. No, no longer.
What about past life stories?
I don't focus too much on past life stories. Really, it's not my main emphasis.
This is actually very similar to my experience as well when we work with clients. It seems to be not the focus anymore. We sense there might be a shift in this. What do you think on that? The shift from past life to the expanded self.
Yes, there's definitely, I observe a shift. And some clients say that explicitly. I'm not interested any longer in past lives, and so because everything which is not resolved or not finished from the past, is now in me. You see what I mean? It's all now in the presence. So my main focus is on the presence, and I also focus on the balance, on improving the balance between our multi-dimensional beings. A better balance. I ask the spirit guide for the client, with their permission, of course. How can I improve the balance between my spiritual being, my immortal existence in a higher dimensional realm, and my earthly human being? What is the next step for a better balance? How can I embrace or integrate the oppositions, the polarities, which are typical for us humans, isn't it? Between spirit and material, between mind and body, between giving love and receiving love, being and doing, and so on. So I always ask, what is my next step to balance that better, in a better way or in an easier way? I also ask, what is my next step to live in a more heart-centered way, because the heart is the great mediator, the synchronizer, the great healer, the bridge.
Absolutely, I totally agree. With over 2,000 of cases that you have guided through the soul journey, I'm sure there will be many special, profound healing stories. Do you have a few, or that could, do you have some could share with us?
There are so many. It's not easy to find one. And yesterday, a colleague was here in my practice, a psychiatrist actually, with deep guilt feelings about 3 themes in his life: about an abortion, which his wife had, about a suitcase, a legal case, about yes, and about the death of one child, and so. And he became able in this session to expand into this wider soul, into his wider soul state. And in that state, he received then from his guide forgiveness and love and grace. And he felt really inner peace then, some happiness even, I would say. And he was totally surprised in the end of the session, surprised of this impact. He never assumed it before, because he had he was 65 or so, and almost all his life he suffered from depressions and guilt feelings from childhood on. And that there was a clear healing happened yesterday. I remember something beautiful from this session yesterday. His deceased daughter, she died when she was 2.5 years old from a disease, and he met her in his soul group and perceived her as an angel. Then he was totally overwhelmed by that. He would never have expected an experience like that. And he asked I suggested him that he asked her why she left Earth as early. And she answered, because it was my last incarnation on Earth, and I wanted to help you. And then he asked also, can I go into contact with you from time to time? And she said, of course you can. I'm always available, and I offer you all my love and my light. So that was really beautiful.
Stories like this, connecting to the deceased ones, are super healing, as we all know,
Yeah.
as you have guided so many sessions. Being a medical doctor, this gives you a cutting edge in guiding clients into such sessions. Now, for those who are still doubting about this expensive stage, or there is soul, there is afterlife, or do you have any advice to share with the audience?
Maybe I would recommend reading something or listening to a few podcasts, or finding their very own way. I mean, that's so individual, how people find on a spiritual path, whether through meditation or through a Monroe retreat or whatever. So I would always recommend that people find their own way, which which feels authentic for them.
That is so true. Like sometimes we have this urge to help somebody, but this person may or may not be ready for such work.
Yeah. Yes.
And in
Yeah.
your practice, if we assume that people trust you more than trust a lay doctor like us, we're not a medical background trained, do you have medical people coming to see you to do such sessions?
Many medical people come for an LBL session, and also psychotherapists and other academic people. Yes, it's true. They can trust more, as I'm academic like them. Yeah. But I mean, I also have very normal people, I would say normal, because we are not so normal, we academics, to had too much in that. I also have craftsmen and housewives, and they come from every profession or background into my practice. But I would say half of my clientele are academics, yes.
That's so different to at least my clientele. My clientele mostly spiritually aware. Because I guess one is because I mean, even though I came from a nursing background, but it's nothing compared to a doctor background. It's more people who have some level of spiritual openness and to come to do this work with us. So would you say there's a shift over the years in the openness to the consciousness in
Yes, definitely. I see that shift very clearly in the collective. And that gives hope, isn't it?
Absolutely. And you also actually write the column for the stories of the afterlife. So tell us your view on afterlife. What happens to people when people die?
At first, I would tell them that leaving the body in the moment of earthly death is very easy in my experience, in my thousands of cases. It was always very easy for people who remembered a dying. So they leave the body in a second and feel free, released, maybe even in peace already, and they are accompanied by their guides or their protection angel, or they are welcomed already by a deceased loved one, and they are guided into another world, which is immaterial, non-physical, full of light and peace, freedom, love, and joy also. And they are welcomed by a whole soul group, which can be surprising or not surprising, depending on who belongs to the group. And there they are most easily able to connect to their main spirit guide, which is they experience, most clients experience that as a kind of melting with this other entity, which is totally wholesome, which is blissful. And they themselves perceive themselves also as a being of light, floating, flying, expanding into the boundlessness. And it's very, the whole perception of this other realm is overwhelmingly wholesome and has a deep impact on healing, integrative healing, on self-identity, dignity, on finding purpose in life, and so on. And they can put their questions, their main life questions, to their spirit guide or to the council or to another source of higher wisdom. So, and the most frequent question is, of course, what is my purpose in this life? For what I'm here, and who am I, and so on. And they get answers, helpful answers.
So beautiful, and it's such a rewarding work.
Yes.
When you connect to the spiritual guides or counsel team, do everybody's spiritual guide or counsel came through, or is there a proportion of individuals there's no guide, there's no counsel, just the higher self?
I never had that experience that there was no main guide, or no angel, an angelic being, or a spiritual entity or a council. So no, I never experienced that with my clients. I know that some colleagues had this observation, but me not.
Very interesting, because for my sessions, it's not always there's a guide, not always. It seems it has something to do with the individual's therapist energy as well, or our belief system.
Yes, maybe. Or I had another idea, Ekomananda, that somehow the main spirit guide, this entity, belongs to us. We belong to each other. We build a unity. And at one point, there is no separation any longer between my higher self and the spirit guide, because it's a unity, an entity. Do you understand what I mean?
Absolutely.
Certainly, yes. So
I think many therapists, we light workers, I think many people are at that level. The soul and the body are aligned. It's acting as one. There's no personality here. There might be ego still around, but more or less when we do the work, when we guiding individuals. It's the soul is speaking, or consciousness, higher consciousness is speaking through the body.
Yes.
So from your field of work, do you still combine medical to help in the clients, or do you predominantly conduct life between life therapies these days?
Yes, I don't practice medicine. Besides, very seldom I apply homeopathic remedies. No, my focus, my main focus is LBL. Yes.
How do you see the role of light workers for us delivering the session as comparing to medicine towards healing and helping people to finding their purpose? What do you think the role these light workers, our work, play in the current human evolution?
Well, we work on a different level than medical people or nursing people or educators, and so we work on the spiritual level, on the level of the soul. But I wouldn't say that we are more important. No, because everyone fulfills his purpose in his own way and has his unique value. I don't see our work more important. I mean, somehow it's deeper. It's more holistic. But I don't want to nourish any spiritual ambition or arrogance.
That's fantastic to know,
Yeah.
and we could feel your energy is so authentic, so pure. It's just we don't sense any ego, so it's truly an honor to be able to feel that. It's just beautiful.
Thank you.
But so if somebody who is not well, who is physically experiencing some sort of a challenge, would you say the energy healing work would help better, or would you still recommend them to see a doctor?
In my preliminary information, which I send to clients, I tell them that if there is a disease, like major depression or a neurological disease or asthma or something, I wouldn't recommend LBL at present. Maybe at a later date. But I would, if someone tells me then, writes me that he is ill, I always recommend to first go to a normal doctor and to get some checks and so. And I prepare very thoroughly that someone is ready to do this, to have this experience, which is a spiritually transformative experience, as we know. And not everyone in the collective is ready in that moment, but needs a few more steps before.
What are the steps?
Yeah, well, for instance, some medical treatment or a couple therapy, when there is a huge problem in marriage or in partnership, or any clear emotional trouble, I would recommend to him or her to go to a therapist. I don't do psychotherapy any longer. I did that so long, and now I really want to focus fully on offering people an LBL experience which can have a deep impact on their whole being, on their life. So therefore, I do this very thorough preparation and talk with someone.
We admire your method. It's really a really niche and also a very clear presentation. We can sense the difference and the professionalism that you put in your work. You're setting a great example for us. We're the younger generation, and I'm a few years into this. It's a total joy to speak to you. Now you said you have published 3 books. Perhaps share with us first the English book, The Soul Light. What made you to publish such wonderful work?
I was guided, really. It was a very strong urge to write, and I refused with my first book, especially, which was published 2013. So it took me 2.5 years to overcome my resistance and fear against writing, because I was so fearful at that time, especially how the medical community would react. With the second and third book, it was much easier then. But there also was this strong urge, a higher guidance, really. It came often in the middle of the night. I woke up. I had to get up and write. So and I felt all of my being is used by a higher force to write. It was my work, but I was guided very strongly.
Which year was that?
Well, the first book was 2012, published then 2013, but this book is out of print meanwhile. And I wrote a book in English, 2000, and published 2022. That's this one.
Soul Light, our divine purpose.
Yeah, and then a German one, 2024. That one.
Wonderful.
Which is more comprehensive, much more comprehensive than my first one, because my main intention of this last 2 books was to describe the unique individual soul in her beauty, magnitude, light, energy, vibration, with the divine potentials everyone has in oneself inside. So because every soul incarnates with a combination of divine potentials out of more than 100, and it's like a divine spark with several facets, a divine jewel. And this jewel, this diamond, is in the process of incarnation is condensed and solidified in matter. That the light qualities of the soul are condensed in the material through the chakras. Yeah, they are condensed, they are dimmed, they are lowered in vibration, and that process causes the primal human fears. I give you an example. One of the many divine potentials in us is inner peace. And the inner peace is seated mainly in the solar plexus chakra. And with the condensation and densification of the light quality by the incarnation, this inner peace becomes a fear of not getting enough, not being enough. It's a lack of inner peace. You see what I mean? And the soul, our soul urges us over time, over the incarnations, or at least in one incarnation, she urges us to unfold this condensed light quality in our chakras. So that means to become aware of this fear inside, fear of not being enough, of not getting enough, not getting enough love, not getting enough money, not getting enough recognition, and so on and so on. Unfold, becoming aware of this fear, healing this fear, at first through self-acceptance, of course, through self-compassion, through understanding, through love from the heart, and then unfolding this masked potential as a human strength, as a human virtue, which is inner peace again. And that happens in all main chakras.
That's wonderful to learn how this peace energy actually stored in solar plexus chakra. What about Muladhara chakra and Swadhisthara chakra?
Muladhara, it's
Yes.
the root chakra, right?
Chakra.
The root chakra.
Yes.
Yeah. In a root chakra, well, our soul brings with her into the incarnation trust, a basic trust, the divine potential, the divine gift of trust. And it is condensed through the chakra into the material, into the body, and causes the primal fear of anxiety of getting refused, getting expelled from the group, of not belonging, not belonging to earth, to the group of people, not belonging here. So there's no trust any longer, and our soul urges us again through becoming aware of this fear, which is a very old human fear, by the way. It's from the beginning of human history, I would say, because in the beginning of our history, we had to adapt to the group to survive. We had completely to adapt. Otherwise, if we would have expressed our own ideas, followed our own impulses, we would have been expelled from the group and would have died because we couldn't survive outside of the group. So that's a very, very ancient fear. So again, our soul urges us now that we become aware of this fear, that we are free to follow our very own path and to unfold again, to heal this fear and to unfold the basic trust in us, trust in ourselves, trust in the flow of life, trust in the higher guidance, and so on.
What about the Swadhisthana chakra? Sacrum.
The second chakra.
Yes.
The second chakra. Oh, there is the darkest shadow in humanity. In the second chakra is our darkest shadow. It's not healed at all in the collective, yes, as we can see easily. The divine gift which our soul brings into the second chakra is grace. And when it's condensed and densified into the material body, it becomes obsession with sexual themes, obsession, whether as a kind of addiction or as a total refusing sexuality, our own sexuality. And there, in that chakra, is most of our old guilt feelings, the consciousness of having been a perpetrator in past lives, but also helplessness, powerlessness of being a victim, while the experiences of violence in one or the other role, with guilt feelings or powerlessness, sit in the second chakra, and they want to be healed and unfolded as grace, receptivity, freedom, also into joy and lightness, creativity. Actually, in that chakra, our creator consciousness wants to be unfolded. Creator consciousness, co-creator consciousness.
And the heart chakra?
Oh, well, the heart chakra, as I said, is the mediator. Love is the divine potential and is condensed and densified into fear of the primal fear of coldness, of lovelessness, of being rejected, broken heart, and so on, and such experiences. Also maybe distrust of being lovable enough, and so. And it is healed by itself, by its own qualities, and love wants to be unfolded in two ways here: giving love and receiving love in balance, leading to unconditional divine love. All love. First, the love for the other. Usually we develop that in the beginning, and later love for ourselves. Then love for the collective, for humanity, for nature and creation, for the all love.
And throat chakra?
Throat chakra the soul brings the divine capacity of power, positive power, activity. And when it's condensed and densified into the material body, it leads to the shadow of lameness, inactivity, paralyzed helplessness, also powerlessness. I cannot do anything. You see what I mean? And if I would act, if I would engage, then something terrible would happen. Past life experiences hang in here as well, of course. Yeah, so, and the healing takes place from the heart, again, through self-compassion, self-acceptance, understanding, and then unfolding the 12 qualities in each chakra want to be unfolded.
Third eye, you're giving us an overview of the seven chakras.
Here is just justice. The divine potential here is justice in our thinking. And in the shadow state, in the material body, it becomes an unjust thinking, whether towards ourselves or towards others. That means judging, devaluating, and also confusion. Well, and the healing is again the same process through the heart, and 12 qualities can be unfolded here with the justice in our thinking, with clarity in our thinking, and concentration, and so on. Maybe also clairvoyance.
And crown chakra, Sahasrara.
The crown chakra is enlightenment, the divine potential of all consciousness and enlightenment, wisdom, higher wisdom. And in the condensed, in the shadow state, it's the fear of being cut from the divine, from being totally alone in the whole universe. And that can lead to severe disease. I mean, every shadow in any chakra can lead to diseases, of course, as well, to physical diseases. And here it may lead to severe psychiatric or neurological diseases, and or to the shadow of arrogance, hubris. And well, the healing takes place in the same way through the heart. And there are also beautiful qualities to be unfolded, like light, simpleness, ease, patience, goodness, all consciousness, wisdom, and others.
So beautiful. Thank you for giving us an overview on the seven chakras. I'm sure the audience will.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, because
it was not it couldn't be in an encompassing way, of course, but
you unfolded beautifully. And I truly enjoy learning from you. Now, I want to go back to talk a little bit about your fear when you mentioned when you published your first book. I guess that's a common feeling for our audience, for people who are very scientific-minded, driven. And if you don't mind, would you be comfortable to share that journey by overcoming that fear?
well, the most helpful remedy for me was this strong urge. I have to do it. I have to write. I have to express myself. I have to bring my knowledge and experience into the public, and that was just so powerful that that it overcame. It healed in the end my fear. It was the feeling of being guided into this on this path, which helped most. It took also a lot of courage and support. For instance, from my family, I got much support from friends, from my family, whole family, and in the end, after the publication, I got only positive feedback, not a single negative one.
You truly deserve it. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
but I mean, amazing. It was surprising because I really feared some heavy negative feedback from medical colleagues.
What was that?
No, I didn't get any. I didn't get any. I mean, but they could have think about I'm in a medical association. They could have expelled me. See, that was the fear from my root chakra, that I could be expelled from this group. I overcame it.
The grace, the universe has granted you the grace and to go ahead to public your knowledge and experience for the benefit of many.
Yes, yeah, I can see that now very clearly.
If someone who's experiencing the same fear, what do you have to say to them?
I would say it's very human, quite normal, and there are ways to overcome the fear. You can look for some help to overcome such a fear. Or you can read some reports written by people who describe that kind of fear. I remember I read a book, I believe it was written by Hall and Citra Stone, the Jungian, the Jungian psychoanalysts who founded voice dialogue, the voice dialogue method. I believe they wrote the book. You don't have to write a book. The title was You Don't Have to Write a Book. So that reading that book released pressure in me.
Fantastic book. You don't have to write a book. Oh, I'm gonna check that out.
Yes, because when there's such a pressure, it can really become a torture, and a remedy would be to let go and to achieve more ease in it.
Well, look at what you have achieved now. You've got the English book, and the second German book, and you're doing so much more than compared to when you first started.
I never could have imagined to ever write a book, Ekomananda. Even, let's say, 15 years ago, when I started my LBL practice, or even before, I could never imagine to write a book.
Surprise. The universe has lots of gifts for you. You never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that's true. But that can happen for everyone. Really,
Trust.
for everyone. Yes,
Yeah,
yeah. So I think the spiritual world, the spirit world, really helps the human collective to go forward in its evolution, in its soul evolution, and expanding its consciousness in many ways.
Yes, absolutely. It's really changing people's life or humanity for the better. And I always, feel this great honor to speak to each therapist who comes to the show to share your divine stories. It's inspiring.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's very inspiring for you to to do these interviews.
And these stories that many people need to know, many people wanting to know, many people are so keen to know what's the true me. You know, I don't like my work. I don't enjoy my work. I feel that I don't have to earn a lot of money. And like one morning they wake up, they feel the world is a little bit different now. Like I'm a different person, and they're thinking, "What's wrong with me?" Right? And they need these sessions to help them to connect to the true self.
Yeah, yes, I believe that. Yeah.
Yes.
But we have to admit that with the increase of light coming in from the universe, from the spirit world, the darkness becomes more obvious also, isn't it? The darkness in the world becomes so obvious, and it's not always easy to observe that, to witness that.
That is true. We come back to trust.
Yeah.
Trust the universe has its own way to plan things out, to guide human beings in moving forward. And you are doing a lot of different talks on life between life therapy. Is that correct? In German on YouTube?
Oh yes, I do. Yeah. Every once in a while. Yeah.
Is that from different projects?
Different platforms, different interviewers. Yes, I'm occasionally invited to do a presentation or an interview. It's always on the LBL method.
Can people find those videos on your website, or do they have to search on YouTube?
No, yes, I have put there a few links to YouTube presentations. Yes, they can find a few ones on my website, or they just go to YouTube and give my name into it, and it will appear.
Is there a particular research area that you're working on?
Yes, there is a project about life purpose and soul gifts. The podcast will take place next week, but I don't know yet the exact date when it will be published. I don't know yet.
So one is soul purpose, another one is soul gift.
It's one theme.
One theme.
Life purpose and soul gifts, because they belong to each other. Because our soul chooses from the unique individual combination of soul gifts the life purpose. For instance, the chosen life purpose could be develop inner freedom to contribute freedom in the world. No, I meant peace, not freedom. Develop inner peace to contribute to peace in the world. That could be one life purpose. And so you see the soul gifts are closely connected to the chosen life purpose. Actually, we can serve humanity and the whole creation best when we let our divine light shine. It's not so much about doing anything, but about being what we truly are, letting our soul light shine and unfolding our divine gifts, potentials, or soul qualities. Therefore, I ask always the spirit guides in the LBL sessions, how can this soul, this human being, contribute best to humanity's evolution, to improvement of the earthly things? So, I mean, many people ask that anyway, but if they don't ask it, I would ask it. And the answer is quite often, the given answer is quite often, just be yourself, your true self. And when they ask then, how where, in which profession can I be best myself? And then they say, doesn't matter. You can you can always and everywhere be yourself. I mean, sometimes the answer is having to do with children or with nature or creativity and so on. But sometimes the answer is let go. Just let go and trust that you are guided. Or recently I heard an answer to the question, what is my life purpose, from a spirit guide. Your life purpose is to recovering from very strenuous past lives.
Was him or her disappointed?
What? Or just have fun and enjoy life. I mean, that I hear that not so seldom as an answer to the life purpose question.
I know. Sometimes the answer comes through is so simple, and
Yes.
and the human mind have expectations. They expect something glorious to happen.
Yeah, that's so true, Ekomananda. But I say often, the more simple the answer is, the higher is the sphere from where it comes. Because very high up in the divine realm, there are only very few truths, isn't it? There's love, there's consciousness, there's creation and change.
Yeah, you emerge into nothingness if you keep on going.
Yes.
And then there's nothing to talk about. I simply just be it, or not even be.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, well, but yes, but the nothing. I asked then. I also asked the spirit guides to let the client enter the soul's ultimate destination, and well, there can be they can perceive it as nothingness. But then I ask, who observes this nothingness? So as long as you observe the nothingness, as long as you can term it as nothingness, there's an observer, an individual observer, right? So, but they perceive it maybe as all love and as total freedom, peace, bliss, and so. It's perceived individually.
true. Each person who experience the divine a little bit differently. Therefore, we always, guided a person to be grounded and honor your own feeling, what you feel inside. Your knowingness is not a lie. It's your intimate experience with the divine.
Mm. Yeah.
And so the audience can find your book on your website and Amazon.
Yes.
Beautiful. I'll put a link in the description box and in the book title here as well.
Thank you.
We wanted to go back a little bit, talk about the darkness you mentioned. One thing is that when we open to the divine, the light comes in. Was there also the possibilities that individuals also open to darkness as well? What do people need to be aware of that?
I mean, most humans experience darkness in their everyday life. When they hear the news, for instance, it's full of darkness, isn't it? And or they experience violence on the street, or they had abuse in their childhood, and so that's darkness. Well, the question is how to cope with it. There are some remedies or self-help techniques to cope with this at best, and to heal the rests of the hurt inside done by the darkness. If it hurts us, if it gives us pains, heartaches, or something like that, how can we heal that? The great healer is the heart. I have to repeat that always. Compassion, understanding the connections, how everything belongs to each other, how darkness, or why darkness is here on earth, and because we live on a planet of duality, of extreme polarities, like day and night, darkness and light, love and fear, and so on. Some very helpful remedies to cope with all that is forgiveness. I practice from time to time the Hawaiian Ho'oponopono, which takes over full responsibility of all my experiences. I take over the responsibility to be part of everything which happens in the world, because I'm a part of the whole. I say to my, you know the method? It's very, very easy.
Please do share.
I say to my inner child, please forgive me that I give you these experiences. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. So that's all. Four sentences. And you know, this old Hawaiian healing tradition even could help a psychologist in Hawaii, Dr. Len. I learned with him the method when he came to Germany, and he was responsible for a forensic department in a psychiatric clinic, and he applied this method. He never saw one of these clients, but it was a very violent department with attacks. The clients attacked the inhabitants, attacked the nursing staff, and so on. And some were chains, awful, very severely disturbed people and criminal people. So he just sat on his desk with photos of all these inhabitants, and he did Ho'oponopono with each of the inhabitant. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And after a while, the department became much less violent, much more peaceful. And after a few months, he did that every day, of course, but never saw one of the clients. And after a few months, the whole department could be opened. Besides of 3 of the, I don't know how many there were, but 3 people had to brought away into a normal psychiatric clinic, but all others were released because they were peaceful. So that's a well documented story.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, such a simple method created such a profound impact on people's life.
Yes, yes, yeah. By the way, he didn't talk to his inner child, but to the unihipili, which is the higher self, I believe. So he said to his higher self, please forgive me that I'm part of all these experiences. That I bring you in connection with a criminal in the forensic department. I love you. Thank you. That was all.
An easy method to follow for everyone. You can practice this at home, at anywhere, to anybody, to yourself, to others, and we can all together.
Yeah, there are a few fine books about it. Ho'oponopono.
Yes, many of our practitioners does this method as well. It's just so beautiful to see. And so we're coming about time to the end of this conversation. Such a wonderful journey to learn from you and to hear your stories and your knowledge about healing, chakras, and this Ho'oponopono method. Now, for you to give one final advice to the audience, what message would that be?
I wish everyone on the planet to know, to become aware that he, she, it, whatever, is a unique, magnificent being of light, love, consciousness, and creative strength, gifted with very special talents and qualities.
Everyone is a special, unique love and light with creative power. It's so beautiful, truly touching. And if you're watching this video, do like it and share it. Dr. Dorothea Fockett, thank you so much for sharing your journey.
It was my pleasure, and thank you also very much, Ekomananda, for your very attentive and appreciative interview.
It's absolute.
It's a gift to have met you.
It's likewise, we are one. It's just here, it just merge, it's one together. Love meets love. Consciousness speaks to consciousness, and we dance together.
Soul to soul.
Yes, soul to soul.
Bye bye.
See you another time. Bye bye.